Hey guys, it's Ian with Ford Assist Solutions. Just going to do a quick video here on how to paint your rifle. I've got my 14.5-inch arrow here. This is like my recce rifle. It's clear and safe. Kind of go over this rifle here in a little bit with you, but looked pretty good black. Now I want to put a little bit of a camo pattern to it, so I am going to do that for you. Before I get to doing that, I'll show you the materials that we're going to need. This is just a quick and simple video, guys. So just your painter's tape, standard painter's tape, some sort of razor blade, and then I go into the paint. I just use Rust-Oleum camouflage. This is their 2x cover. You can pick it up at Walmart. I usually get a light tan, a brown, an OD green, and then like a foliage green. And the last thing I go over with it is just a matte finish. Now, this is just the way I do it. I've done Cerakotes and I've done some different coatings for guns, but for just a duty use or something that's going to get all scratched up kind of gun, this is what I do for it. So I'll show you guys how to get it prepped, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so to go more into my rifle, like I said, this is an Arrow Precision that I built. They make really high quality materials. This is their Atlas S1 handguard, standard barrel. I've got the Surefire brake on the front, and obviously weapon light on the port side or the support side, which is my left side. And that's just an on-off button switch, momentary on-off. I've also have the, this is the Strike Industries 45 set or offset iron sights. Those are flipped down. Then I've got the BCM foregrip, which, you know, this is just for a C-clamp. So I can get my grip like this. I can manipulate my light. If I have to switch hands over, I can do so. Going back down the rifle for an optic, I'm running the Vortex Strike Eagle. This is a 1:8 with a quick throw lever. So 1x magnification all the way out to 8. The way that you manipulate that is with your support side, bring it over. Ambidextrous charging handle. What else? Oh, the other great thing about this optic is it does illuminate. It has 11 different settings for brightness on the left side of the gun. Everything else on this gun is pretty much standard except for the trigger. The trigger is a Rise armament. This is a 2.5 pound trigger in here. So again, weapon is clear. So it's a single stage. It's just a very small break. And then back here I run Ranger bands, and that is so when I'm in my patrol car or in my personal vehicle, I can run the sling back up into the stock. That way it's not getting hung up on anything. And then just your standard mag pull, grip, and butt stock. So we'll get it taped off now and show you how I prep it for paint. Alright guys, so what you can see is I've already taped off the iron sights. Again, those are the Strike Industries 45 offset sights. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sling off, set that aside. Going to take off my Ranger bands. Set that aside, bring my folding stock all the way out. I do want to take my bolt out for this. And my charging handle. Everything else is going to stay on the gun. Alright, so what I do is, again, this is a quick job. This isn't going to be a professional job. I don't really want it to be, but this paint has really held up over the years. I've done a bunch of people's guns like this, especially guys on our team. And it just breaks up the solid black color, especially if we're running like a woodland ops, or you know, we're running with our camo. And plus it just looks fucking cool. So it's gonna wear, and that's kind of what you want it to do over time. It's gonna break back down, then you can just come back in and hit it with some color, and you'll be good to go. Let's see, I'm gonna tape off obviously my scope on the inside of where the optic lenses are, and then my weapon light. I usually leave the barrel black underneath, so I'll take a couple pieces of paper and slide those underneath, and then I will leave the muzzle brake black, but everything else is going to be painted. Another little trick that you guys can do, if we disassemble our upper and lower receiver again, just go right in here. I'm going to shut my dust cover. I'm going to put a piece of tape on the back side of that, just so I don't get any paint or any other debris inside where my chamber is. And this is not perfect by any means. I don't tape up by the charging handle. I let gravity do the work, because I'm going to hang the gun like this, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a minute, and then go to spray from there. Alright guys, so we're at that point where we're going to start painting. I did tape off the rifle in all the places that I wanted to tape it off. The trigger, obviously the optic. I taped off the portion of the indicator for the 1 to 8 for the zoom. Also the indicator for the illumination, not like that makes a big deal. The 45-degree sights, and the other lens, and the weapon light. But that's pretty much it. Everything else is going to be paint on this. Typically, like I've said before, sometimes I'll run a piece of paper down the inside of the barrel, or on the outside of the barrel, inside of the handguard, just so that I can get not get paint on the barrel. This one in particular, the way that the handguard is designed, it's so high up next to the gas block that I'm not going to be able to do that. Not a big deal for me. And then I'm going to attach my my rifle to the rope up here. Alright guys, so moment of truth. I'm going to start off with the lightest color possible. So this is that light tan. Again, this is the Rust-Oleum Camouflage 2x Ultra Cover, and you want to get it in a matte finish. Don't want this really glossy finish, semi-gloss, any of that. Try to get a matte color. So we're just going to start this off. Shake it for about a minute. All right. Now you're just going to put a light coating on first, and then we'll go over it again. Now I'm doing this in my garage. You can do this outside. Where I live, it's extremely windy, so I don't want to do it outside today, but it is ventilated in my garage. I have both garage doors open right now. You want to check the specs on whatever paint that you're using, because depending on what the temperature is outside is going to be how long it takes for this to dry. This is pretty fast drying stuff from, again, you can get this at Walmart, guys, or your local hardware store. It's about $4 a can. So we're gonna paint this whole rifle for probably less than 30 bucks. So first coat's almost done. Again, you don't want to be spraying hard on the rifle at any time, like up close. You want to give it about 8 to 12 inches and just get an even coat across the rifle itself. You're just constantly working the paint back and forth, but you know, for the most part, that's the first coat. All right, guys, we're back. So I've let it dry for about 15 minutes. I've actually done a second coat, so I've let that dry for another 15. Still not completely covered with the tan, but that's not a huge deal because I'm going to add some other color. Now we're going to go into like that foliage green, just the lighter green. I've already taken this, and this is where the fun part comes. I've seen people that have put like leaves and all sorts of stuff on theirs. I try not to go for an exact pattern, and I will break this up. Eventually I'll show you a little trick. But yeah, I just start doing like a V pattern up the gun. Do the other side. There. And that's all it is for that. Now we're going to switch over to the OD green. And we're going to do the same thing with the opposite direction. Just kind of watch your lines and where they go. And do the top. Yeah, I'm kind of overlapping colors right now, but that's just adding to that camo pattern. Try not to overdo it and make it more complicated than it is. And again, we're not just holding the color in one spot, we're kind of moving it all over the place. So you can see how much the rifle's changed already. So we're going to let that dry for a few minutes. But you can already see the difference. So now if you've got some fading and you want a little bit more distinct, just get a little bit closer with the spray, but you still want to keep that constant. So if I want to put like stronger pattern there, or you know, maybe a stronger pattern right here, I can do that. Go back on this side, do the same thing. Same thing on the top. And that looks pretty good to me, so I'm just going to leave that, let it dry for a little bit. All right, so now this is where we're going to actually add some detail to this. Okay, so I have one of my kids' old little racket sticks here that they don't use anymore, and you can see I've already painted stuff, but that just gives it an indicator. So some people, like I said, will use like leaves and stuff. I don't want that predominant of a pattern. And what I do with this is I actually put the screen right up on the gun as close as I can, and then I spray across it in like a fading manner. So I got the brown now, so this is a darker color. And I'll start here and I'll kind of show you guys. So I get it right to about there, and then I just come across, and it just gives it like a pattern across, and I continue with that V-shaped pattern up the gun. What it does is this helps break up the color even more. You can see right there it's kind of predominant, but that will dry. And even if you want to do it on the grip. And then I just work my way around the gun. Just give little indications here and there. I feel like Bob Ross right now, but not painting any little happy trees or squirrels. Wish I had that kind of talent. And you know, this might not work for everybody, or you guys might think this is stupid. This is just something that's worked for me over the years, just as far as breaking it up. And just kind of look around the gun and see what works for you. You know, even like right here on top of the magwell, throw some pattern in there. And we'll go and switch and do the other side. And one of the last things for paint that you can do is just go back into like a lighter color, like that foliage green, and do the same thing, just not as much this time. And that just breaks it up even more. In this, I'm running a totally different pattern off what I had. And again, it's just breaking it up even more. It's like this side, I went pretty heavy with the brown. So throw a little bit of green in there, kind of overlapping that. You know, and for me, that looks pretty good for right now. So I'll finish this up. I'll show you guys the last step before we just let it dry. All right, so we've been waiting for a little bit, maybe another 10-15 minutes. The rifle is pretty much dry at this point. So what we're gonna use Krylon. You can use Rust-Oleum makes another one, but make sure it's a matte clear coat. This just helps protect it a little bit. It's not gonna keep the paint like a Cerakote would. But this is going to keep it in place for a while. It's not just going to get all scratched up right away. And it all depends on how hard you use it. But this is a Krylon UV resistant. It's a clear coat, and this is matte finish also. Again, you want to keep it all as matte as you can. I'm going to run 2 coats on this, and then we're going to let it dry. Alright guys, this is a finished product. Like I said, this isn't the end all be all, but I put everything back together, checked the lenses, made sure I didn't have any overspray. All the functionality of the gun works fine. So, biggest thing that I can say with this is, you know, if you want to spend the time and go out and get it Cerakoted professionally or have it hydro dip, that's great. If you want to do it yourself, this took me less than an hour. And some people would say that, you know, maybe they don't have the confidence in doing it. Do something else first. This is a breaching tool that I have. This was all black. This is from Jersey Tactical. This is one of their claws. And you know, this is something that I just rattle can quickly just to break up that black part, except for the handle. I didn't really get into that. But yeah, before you get into doing your rifle, find something else to spray first. All right, guys, I want to say thanks for checking this out today. Hopefully this helps some of you. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Check out my podcast, Ford Assist Podcast. It's on Apple and now on YouTube. Check out my Instagram, Ford Assist Solutions, and check me out on YouTube at Ford Assist Solutions. If you guys have any questions or any comments, list them below, or shoot me a message. You can also message me at fordassistsolutions@gmail.com. Thanks, guys.